Hello survivors and welcome to another Walking Dead Road to Survival video, and in this video we're going to be looking at the week ahead in RTS, your weekly roundup and things to look forward to when it comes to events, tournaments and just basically things that you should keep in mind in the upcoming week for RTS. This week we have a brand new event that's going to be starting, which we're going to have a little delve into and some theorizing about what could potentially come with that. We do also have some new tournament cards for winning tournaments and placing in certain positions. And at the end of the week, we do, of course, have War of Champions 4 taking place, where I will obviously be doing my normal roundup of the end of the day scores and end of War of Champions scores like I have done for every other War of Champions tournament. But first, we'll get into the calendar, and most importantly, before I delve into anything, on the Monday, the 9th, the very first day, mergers are starting. I did do a video on this. Your region might be affected. It does affect 27 regions out there in this first set of mergers. They don't talk about there being any more mergers, but it's likely that this could potentially happen again. So it's good to at least familiarize yourself with what is going to happen for these people, even if it doesn't directly affect you. So do take notice. Region mergers are starting on Monday, the 9th of November, and there should be a link in the top right hand corner taking you to the full breakdown of how this is going to work. But the calendar itself is here, and as you can see at the top, all of the days of the week are pink because Battle Pass 3 continues. Monday we'll have a new set of missions drop, so make sure you do finish your current week's missions. As always, I will always remind you this first because there are some people who will just forget otherwise. We do have Haunted Skirmish coming to an end. It finishes on the Wednesday, and it has been a pretty long-winded event. Honestly, I haven't personally got too much out of it except for some stash pulls because I didn't go for Nick, and I haven't really got the greatest of things when it comes to the tombstones or when it comes to the candy corns. I think they could have maybe added some extra stuff in there to be a bit better for a wider audience, but it hasn't been all bad, as that skull axe is definitely the pick of the rewards for me. Definitely want to see more weapons in future events. There are just 2 tournaments left for the Haunted Skirmish. We'll drop some of the Jack-o'-lanterns, no doubt, but the solo Haunted Road will be mainly revolving around the tombstones and getting those mods and mod scraps. Personally, I've done the majority of this already, so I don't really need to go in too much on this solo Haunted Road. Again, like I was saying before, I just hope they add something extra for your tombstones and your candy corns, because plenty of us have got some left over. And this is where we come on to the event starting directly after Haunted Skirmish. This is not going to be a multi-week event like Haunted Skirmish was, because we do have Break a Bone. The Spelling Dead is going to be another event, no doubt, that is going to be revolving around the letters and hitting up certain letters, be it in arenas, be it in roadmaps, be it in certain parts of the game like raids. We have had this in the past with missions where we had to do this and get drops, where certain letters were much easier to come by and then certain letters were much harder to come by. This is going to be a 2-week event. I do hope there are some nice interesting cards at least available in this event. It is worth noting with the Spelling Dead that it will end near the end of December, as will Break a Bone, so they might be gearing up for some nice Christmas event. We'll have to wait till December to really get a good idea, but it does look like they're going to be gearing up, hopefully, for some decent Christmas events, where historically, Christmas events have not been the greatest. So fingers crossed for something nice this year. Is it going to be Earl or is it going to be Wayland as Santa? Let's see. The Break a Bone event obviously continues, and a lot of people are excited about Jesus in this event, as he is one of the more interesting and powerful free-to-play characters, especially defensively, that we've had ever in RTS. The roadmaps have not been too terrible to complete from my experience, and you should have already been able to get your hands on the 5-star version of Jesus, getting yourself 2.5k cards from completing that first roadmap. I would definitely say keep up with the Break a Bone event as much as possible, because Jesus is definitely worth getting your hands on. Now we also have another event, of course. It is a Toast to Power, and it is going to be finishing on the following Monday after this week, so this is the last full week of this event. There were some issues which I no doubt know some of you already realise, and if I read through the post just to clarify, it says, "Hello survivors, as you may have noticed, the Toast to Power missions reached 2.1 million milestone twice and reached 3 million milestone once, experienced 2 issues. The Toast to Power mission event began midway through the level up tournament that it was intended to track. This resulted in progress earned before 12 PM Pacific time to not count towards a Toast to Power mission progress. The 2.1 million milestone twice and 3 million milestone once missions were not functioning as intended. To correct the issue with the 2.1 million milestone, the milestone has now been adjusted to 2.5 million. Due to the issue above, we will be providing the following. All players will receive the following for any potential inconvenience: 5 Brady trainers, 1 War Energy refill. Any player who earned 2.5 million level up tournament points before 12 PM Pacific time will receive the following: 40 wine bottles. Any player who earned 3 million level up points on the 5th of November before 5 PM Pacific time when the fix was applied will receive the following: 60 wine bottles. Note, this includes the 40 wine bottles for 3 million milestone and the completion reward for 20 wine bottles. It is also possible to receive both the 40 and the 60 wine bottle compensation. Thank you for your patience, and we hope you continue to enjoy the A Toast to Power event. Best TWD RTS team. So if you did receive the rewards, as you can see in my wine bottle collection, I have 100 because I did receive both sets of compensation because I did score over 4.5 million. As you saw in my Battle Pass video, I scored a lot of points because I got S-Class Nor. So that's the way it goes. I got lucky, I guess, with the extra compensation, but you do have to score more now this time around if you didn't score it before. Before it was reached 2.1 million milestone 2 times. Now it's 2.5, so they're effectively punishing people who didn't get the compensation. I don't really understand why that has been changed personally. I know I'm going to get it twice, but there are other people who haven't got any compensation and now it's harder for them to actually get the rewards, so I'm not really sure what was implemented. It's only really going to affect your second time of hitting 2.5 million though, because the first time when you hit 3 million, it will also count it in the 2.5 million mission as well. Now as we move on to the tournaments, we can see that the tournament cards this week are going to be Mateo as the every position card, and we also have Kerry Ann as the top 10 position card, or the top placement cards in faction events. Now, I don't think these two cards are that amazing. Mateo, a lot of people already have because he was part of the Battle Pass. There will be no doubt some people who don't have him who would obviously want to work towards him, but the majority of people in the game, I think, have this guy. Kerry Ann, not so much, but she isn't also top tier, so it is kind of a strange combo of characters to go in for. It does look like it is going to be quite a quiet week for a lot of people in a lot of regions in their tournaments. But we'll have to wait and see. There could be a lot of people who want to go for Kerry Ann. She could be useful as a leader with Marge in her team. But if you have S-Class Marge, you're most likely going to use her as a leader herself. Now, there are 2 tournaments that are still going to be part of the Haunted Skirmish. We have got a solo level up, which is going to be full of Jack-O-Lanterns. So if you need your last bits and pieces of Jack-O-Lanterns, do pick them up here, as well as the solo Haunted Road will have Jack-O-Lanterns involved as well. That will mainly feature tombstones though in the solo mission that will drop. And as I said previously in the video, fingers crossed that they do add more rewards so people who have already maxed out all their missions can actually get some rewards here. Then we move on to the non-event specific tournaments, and we have 2 more solo level ups. It's not going to be a faction level up at the end of the week because it does coincide with War of Champions. We do have a solo raid tournament midweek. There's going to be no skulls involved in this because the current Onslaught is the last event to get your skulls. So if you are watching this and the Onslaught event is still live, you want to hit that as much as possible to get any remaining skulls you need. There is only a 24-hour mod removal, and then it is going to be War of Champions. Personally, I would like there to be longer mod removals than just a 24 hours. It takes so long to remove them. They're generally during tournaments where you actually need to have mods on your characters as well, like SR and Raid. It would be nice to have a tournament where you don't necessarily need mods on your team. Potentially like a Walker Hordes event, and make it maybe like a week-long mod removal rather than just a 24-hour mod removal. Especially in the run-up to War of Champions, I did think that they actually did this previously where they made it a week-long mod removal just to make it easier for people to mod their teams. Until they add quality of life to mod removal, they definitely need to give you more time in doing this. But as you can see at the end of the week, we have War of Champions 4. It is mislabeled to be the 13th of July to the 15th of July. It is definitely the 13th of November until the 15th of November, as we are in November. And if we go over to the qualification post, the top 50 factions of the qualifiers were announced, and I'll just scroll through these. There was an issue, strange enough, where 2 factions had the same name and their scores were combined to make them qualify. those factions were actually compensated with 50% of the 50th place ranked rewards, which is kind of interesting considering I did talk to some people in one of those factions and they were down in like 85th, 90th, so nowhere near even qualifying. So the factions in 51st to 60th who were much closer are not going to get any bonus out of this. This does sting a little bit for anyone who's close, and I was one of the people who was close to qualifying for War of Champions 4. And considering they're only in the list of qualifying factions for about 3.5 hours, I don't really think that is really warranted compensation personally. But congrats to the people who are going to get that. That's a lot of free rewards for pretty much nothing. We'll have a look at the qualifying factions, and we have Vayvictus, Walkers, and Days After Rodeo as the top 3 qualifying factions. Will this be the top 3 when it comes to the event itself? Qualifiers factions may not go as hard. But as far as I understand, these were the top 3 from the last War of Champions, just in a slightly different order. We'll have to wait and see to the War of Champions weekend to see how it finishes up. But we do have some other factions, of course, who have qualified. 47 more factions. I'm just going to scroll through them all. If you see your faction, then give them a shout out in the comments down below. But we did have 50 factions in total. And the last faction qualifying was OG Slaughterhouse. Now, there should be some news this week about the rewards for War of Champions, and I will bring that to you as soon as I have it. And there may be a sweep of all of the factions and players that are going to be participating just to make sure there's no shenanigans going on. It's generally a thing that's done before every War of Champions previously, so I no doubt will see something before this War of Champions as well. But that is the week ahead, guys. Do give me your thoughts on the potential of the new event, the Spelling Dead. Is there anything that you would want to see in this when it comes to cards? Is there a character that you just desperately want? Me personally, I'm so close to finishing Javi. I would obviously just like to get some Javi cards in here. Otherwise, as long as there's 1 or maybe 2 decent, more recent characters that maybe aren't in the daily crates, that would be a big bonus. Like I said previously, I will of course be doing some coverage for War of Champions 4 on the weekend. We'll be doing day 1 scores, day 2 scores, and the end of War of Champions scores as mini streams on my channel. I have saved enough coins as well for that victorious 10 pull just in case. I'm going to hopefully be able to get Andrea to pop onto my stream, because in the last couple of War of Champions, we've got a 5-star ascendable, 6-star. Could we get an S-class this time around? That would be actually kind of crazy. Do tune in to find out. However, that is the end of my video. I want to thank you very much for tuning in today. And as always, keep on surviving, guys. Keep on surviving.